What's up, guys? Brendan, built from scratch. It's been a while. Didn't mean to go so long between videos. Just kind of did a big project at my house. We redid a lot of the basement, created an art studio for my wife. During that time, we put everything in the bar, so I really had no room to record anything. And I was going to do it at other places, but honestly, man, this is kind of where I feel good doing some videos for this project. So here we go. What I want to do tonight, though, is kind of take a different path. Most of my videos have been talking about just life experiences, things that kind of made me who I am today. But one big thing is I'm a personal trainer, I'm a fitness professional, and I still do that consistently on a daily basis. So I just maybe want to go over a few of the top questions I get the most, and I'm going to maybe just start with the top four questions that are probably the ones I get asked the most on a weekly basis or just during my career. First one, for mostly everybody who works out, what protein do I take? Like, what's the best protein? How do I know which protein to take? Do I do whey protein? Do I do a vegetarian protein? So me, myself, I prefer whey protein, but to each his own. But the main thing when looking for a protein, there's a lot of them out there. But the one thing you want to really make sure you're focusing on is the way it's made. And most proteins out there are highly processed. Or when I say that is they go through just a quick processing stage to create it from a liquid form to a powdered form. See, protein comes from a process of making cheese. They separate the casein and the whey. In the past, the whey just got thrown away, but some genius came up with the idea to make it into a powder for people who were into bodybuilding. And so, therefore, that's how it started. Now, the higher you cook any food, the more you're going to kill it. So, when they cook protein from liquid to powder, and they do it in big batches at a very high rate, the higher the heat, the more it kills the amino acid complex. So it doesn't make it as bioavailable for your body to absorb and assimilate into protein. And so, if you're going to use a supplement to replace your food, the goal is to replace it with a quality supplement. You're not just looking for the cheapest thing just to get a quick meal in. If you're trying to focus on eating good food, you should have a good supplement to replace that food when you're not able to eat whole foods. So, looking for a protein, it needs to be a low temperature process. It might say cold process, nothing's done pure cold because it has to be cooked down, but low temperature processed protein. It could be a whey protein, an isolate, a concentrate, a mix of both. I prefer a mix of both, but again, it depends on really kind of how you're utilizing it. So low temperature processed, usually more natural flavors, vanilla, chocolate. You just don't want to have a lot of fillers, a lot of preservatives. You also don't have a lot of vegetable oils mixed in with that. A lot of those proteins you get pre-made in the bottles that you can buy at different stores. To preserve those, they use vegetable oils. A lot of the fat that's in those is coming from the oil, and vegetable oil is high in omega-6 fats, which can create a inflammation process within our body. So it's not a healthy fat for you. So just to let you know, low temperature processed whey protein. Me personally, I prefer First Forms. I use their level 1 just as a meal replacement. It's a mixture of like egg, whey concentrate, whey isolate. I think there's one more in there. Casein, I believe it has in there. But it also has a few other things. So it's more of like a meal replacement. They also have the formula one, which is just the isolate, and that's going to be right after my workout. I pair that with a simple sugar, sometimes their ignition, which is a glucose powder. Usually just fruit. I'll do a couple pieces of fruit, something to get that insulin spike, so I can, when I drink my protein mixed with creatine, I get that quick absorption into my system. But that's the main thing. Low temperature process. That's what you look for. That's going to ensure that it wasn't killed. The amino acid complex is still pretty pure, and it's going to be much more available for your system to use. And that's the whole purpose of taking it. Second, well, what should I eat? Let's go ahead and get on top of that. Main thing is whole foods. Mother Nature makes it. That's what you should eat. So focus on good meats, good quality meats and vegetables, some fruits, very little starch, and try to avoid sugar. Milk, don't really need it unless it's going to be a good quality grass-fed, free-range, organic milk. Most milk is so pasteurized and homogenized. Just the process really breaks it down. It's just not very good quality anymore to absorb. Don't worry, if you do milk, don't worry about doing skim milk. All proteins that we consume should have some fat mixed in with it. So don't worry about the fat in milk. If you're going to consume that for a protein source, you need to have some fat with it. Because anytime we consume protein, our body's used to having a fat to help process and assimilate it or break it down. Veggies, try to get as many different colors of vegetables as you can. The more you cook down your vegetables, the more, just like protein or anything else, the more you're going to denature and kill it. So don't microwave it, maybe a light steam or saute it or grill it, but try to keep some crispness to it because you want that fibrous texture to it to get the benefits of it. Some fruit, man, you don't need a lot of fruit. Don't use fruit as all your carbohydrates today. Maybe 2 or 3 servings. Good time is maybe a little bit in the morning after a workout. But definitely mix up your fruits and try to get a lot of different kinds for the different nutrients. Stay away from sugar. For the most part, it creates a lot of it's just bad for you. And I want to tell you this, for every teaspoon of sugar you eat, you suppress your immune system for 6 hours. So when you're finding yourself getting sick a lot, or people who get sick all the time, it's probably because they consume a lot of grains and sugars all the time. That suppresses their immune system, so they're prone to get sick all the time. So whole foods, Mother Nature makes it, you eat it, man makes it, limit yourself. I'm not perfect, trust me, I love food. So the goal is moderation on everything, and maybe like an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, eat for a goal, eat for health, eat for function, and 20% of the time, treat yourself for doing that. So don't try to go 100% perfect because eventually you'll crash and you'll binge. Let's get off the nutrition. Let's go to workouts. How often do I work out? What are your needs? What's your experience level? I usually consider experience in weightlifting 0 to 1 years, you're a beginner. 1 to 3 years, intermediate. 3 to 5 or 5 years plus, definitely should be advanced in exercise. But again, what is your goal? If you're new, maybe a circuit training full body, focus on good pushes and pulls, squats and lunges, maybe some jumps, rotations, flexions, extensions, just kind of all the movement patterns. Days in between, some light cardio and stretching. From there you can progress to a 4-day split where you're doing maybe an upper body day, then a lower body day, then taking an ab day, then cycling through that again, maybe another ab day, take a day off. Just depending on how you want to pair that together. And then from there you can go into a 4-day split where you're pairing body parts. And then need be, depending on what your sport or your goal, like bodybuilding, you're probably going to get into a 5-day split where you're really isolating body parts. But even in that, if you do, let's just say chest day, International Chest Day is on Monday. You shouldn't really have to wait until the next Monday to get chest in. Your body shouldn't need much more than 48 to 72 hours of recuperation before you're able to stress that or break that down again. If after 3 or 4 days you're still sore, 2 things. You either work that muscle down too hard, 2, you didn't eat enough quality foods or hydrate yourself well enough to recuperate from that workout, or a combination of both. So about every 4 days or so you should be able to put more stress or kind of tear that body part down again. So main chest day on Monday, light chest day on Thursday, paired with something else, maybe shoulders, maybe a back day. So that's about it. Everybody's different. Again, it depends what your needs are. The main thing is train for function. Learn how to control your own body weight very effectively before you start to worry about a lot of external resistance. Because when you apply external resistance to your body, it's going to break those patterns down if you can't even handle them at body weight. So start with that. Flexibility, work on flexibility. That's the main thing. If you don't have proper flexibility, then you're not really going to have very good stability because you have unequal tensions meeting in that joint when there's stress or contractions. And without stability, there's no platform for strength. And if you can't move something slow and strong, you're not going to move it powerful and explosively fast. So work on good flexibility and stability, and your strength and power definitely is going to increase from that. And that's kind of the platform for fitness. If you don't have a strong foundation, if you don't have a strong core, you're not stable, man, you're only going to reach a certain platform of fitness. You're only going to reach only a certain potential of your fitness ability. So look at that. And any weakness you have, especially a flexibility issue, is your power leak. So if you're an athlete, your performance is going to be inhibited by that power leak because you're inefficient in that fitness ability. My favorite exercise is another question I get all the time, and if I'm going to go with one, it would be the deadlift. The deadlift's probably one of the most functional movements you can do. Got to learn how to pick something up heavy, move somebody out of a building. If need be, if you're rescuing them, you got to learn how to hinge from the hip, pick something up, and move it. Plus, it just works the whole system, and it's just a very good loading exercise for the body. 2, maybe a back squat. 3, standing overhead press. I'm a very functional trainer. There's no machines. Don't use a lot of machines in your workouts if you can help it. Machines are good to isolate a muscle. It's better to work with the free weights, and then you find out you can't stabilize very well to create that movement. Then you go to a machine and you kind of isolate and burn out that muscle you're working. But definitely focus on mostly free weights, get very creative, learn how to use kettlebells, TRX systems, Swiss balls, focus on dumbbells, barbells, mix it up, man. Get very creative and learn how to do a lot of different things in fitness. Those are the things, I think those are the four. What proteins, what foods to eat, what do I do workout, like how do I structure my workout routine, and what's my favorite exercise. I know I get a lot more questions, so I'm just going to go with those four for right now. But tell you what, if you have a certain question for me, if there's something I can answer for you, give me a comment or give me a message. And if I can, if I can answer in the comment, I will. But if you want a good explanation, I'll do another video. I'll try to do videos each week or maybe a couple of weeks where I'm answering certain questions in the realms of fitness, health, or wellness. And just to try to get out of as much information as I can. And honestly, if I don't know how to answer the question, I'm going to be honest with you. Or I'll just look it up and learn myself and then try to give you the best answer I can. But again, if you have a question for me, something I can answer for you, please give me a comment or a message. And I actually would like to do videos. That would be pretty fun for me to try to help you guys out based on what your needs are. But I just want to give out as much information as I can based on the journey I have had in fitness and health and wellness, just to help anybody else out there. So thanks guys for the follow. Sorry for the long video. As you can see, I like to talk. Please share this with anybody that it could help, or anybody that you think would benefit just by hearing some of the information that I have to give out. So I'm going to try to stay more consistent. Going to start doing a podcast with this. I got some guys lined up. We're going to hopefully kind of work out a little thing in the basement where we're going to interview just other guys who have developed a craft for themselves and have a certain journey that they're creating in their life based upon that craft. So thanks guys. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. See you next time.